Hello class, today we'll be doing your Capstone 1 for IS2010 Fall 2025. To go over this assignment, this Capstone assignment will reinforce key spreadsheet and statistic concepts, including frequency analysis, measures of location, and measures of dispersion. Students will apply these techniques to analyze sales data for an online retail store. The scenario is that you are a data analyst for an online retail company that tracks sales data. Your task is to analyze a data set of daily sale transactions from one of the company's product categories. Using Excel, you will summarize key statistics and interpret the findings. First thing we want to do is go ahead and download this file for Capstone 1. Go ahead and press Enable Editing if it says so, and we are ready to begin. Let's go ahead and look at the workbook provided. We have two worksheets down below of sales and analysis. We are going to be working on sales first, so let's go ahead and zoom in. And go ahead and just resize these columns just in case. Yep. Okay. For the first step, we want to calculate the population summary statistics. So to do this, go to C39, and let's go ahead and put in our population count, which uses the count formula. We're going to select our data. We want to go ahead and absolute these. Press enter. We're just going to go ahead and just drag this formula all the way down and go ahead and change these formulas. Go ahead and change the formulas to the respective statistic formula. So this one here is total sales. We're just going to use sum. This one here is mean, which is average. Oops. There we go. Median is median. Oops. Okay. Here we go. Mode. Go ahead and do min. Max. Next up for range, we're going to go ahead and delete this formula for the count. We're going to go ahead and do an equal sign to start our formula. Select our max, and then subtract by our min. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and do our variance. So go ahead and change this count to var.p for population. And the standard deviation, which is stdev.p. There we go. Okay, moving on, we now want to go ahead and create a population frequency analysis. To do this, we're going to use our 2K rule in order to find how many bins we need, and we also need to calculate the bin width. So let's go ahead and go over what the 2K rule is. The 2K rule is that 2 to the power of k, in which that k is the number of bins we want to have that encompasses the number of observations that we see from our population summary. So what this means is that we want to go ahead and calculate 2 equals 2 to the power of 1 first. So this is representing that k is equal to 1 right now. So we're getting 2 to the power 1, which is 2. So now we want to keep going until we either are equal to 31 or just barely greater than our 31. So let's keep going. So 2 to the power 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 2 to the power 4 is 16. And 2 to the power 5 is 32. So we see that we are just barely above our population count. So we want to go ahead and keep note that 5 is the number of bins we want to use. Next thing that we want to calculate is the bin width. To calculate the bin width is our range divided by our number of k, which is our bins. So let's go ahead and calculate this. Go ahead and do an equal signs and go ahead and pick our range. We're going to go ahead and divide it by our 5 that we found. Go ahead and press enter. And this is our answer of our bin width. But notice that in the instructions, it says to round up your intervals to the nearest hundredth. So we're going to go ahead and change this to 17 100 instead as our bin width. Okay, first thing we want to do is that we want to go ahead and calculate our population bin maxes. To do this, we're going to go ahead and grab our lower bound of our population sales, which is our 12,000 plus the 17,100 that we just calculated. Going to press enter. And we have 29,100 as our first population bin max. Let's go ahead and type that in. Now for the next one, we're going to do the same thing. So we're just going to go ahead and just add another 17,100 and go ahead and put this into the next bin, 200. And we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste. Oh, not copy and paste. We're going to go ahead and highlight these cells and drag down on this green box, just like that. Moving on, let's go ahead and fill out this sales part now. So first thing we want to do is that we want to say the range is 12,000, the lower bound, to our 29,100. Next one is our 29,100 to our 46,200. Our 46,200 to 63,300. And then 63,300 to 80,400. And then finally 80,400 to 97,500. Okay. And then on this next one, we're just going to go ahead and put in 97,500 and a plus sign. Okay. Next thing we want to do is that we now want to calculate our frequencies of each of these sales within these bins. So let's go ahead and do our equal sign frequency. Our first data array is going to be all of our sales, comma, all of our bins array, which is our upper bounds of each bin. Go ahead and press enter. We should see now that there are 10 observations within our first bin, 6 in our second, 7 in our third, and then 4 in our 4, and then 4 in our 5th bin as well. Next we want to do is that you just want to calculate the sum of these frequencies, which is just this, which is 31. And then we're just going to calculate the relative frequency, which is an equal signs, our frequency of the first bin divided by the number of observations made, which is our 31 right here, and go ahead and absolute, press enter, and now we want to drag this formula down to where we get our percentages. Final thing is that we would just want to add sum here for this column. There we go. Next up that we want to do is that we want to go ahead and create charts for our population frequency. So first thing we want to do is that we want to create a bar chart for our frequency. So go ahead and highlight your data of E5 to F10. Go to the insert main menu. Go to the bar chart section and go ahead and press on the first bar chart. Go ahead and move it to the K column. We're going to go ahead and change this name to population frequency. We're just going to go ahead and change the formatting of this chart as well. Okay. Next up is that we want to have a pie chart. So let's go ahead and do a pie chart of the relative frequency. So highlight your sales and then highlight the relative frequency. Go to the insert main menu, go to the pie chart and click on the first pie chart. There we go. Go ahead and place this to the right. Whoops. Place this to the right of this bar chart that we just made. And first thing is that we want to make sure that our chart title is correct. So we're just going to say population relative frequency. And next up after this, we just want to change the formatting to display the percentages. And there we go. you make sure that you do change the formatting and the names of your tables, including adding data labels, as we will be grading on that. Okay, next thing we want to do is that we want to go ahead and create the weekend sale sample. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and create a conditional formatting to highlight the weekends. So go ahead and select your cells from A6 through C36. Go ahead and go to conditional formatting, go to new rule, use a formula. We go ahead and just copy this formula over here and go ahead and paste it in. Next thing we want to do is that we just want to go ahead and format our cells to whatever color we want. Go ahead and press OK. Press OK again, and we should see that our Saturdays and Sundays have now been highlighted. Next thing we want to do is that we want to go ahead and put these within our weekends over here, our table over here. To do this, we're going to use advanced filter. So go ahead and go to data, advanced, and this pop-up box should be showing. Please make sure that you type in everything in here correctly, or else you could wipe out some data below. So let's go ahead and double check. Our first list range is B5 through C36, which is good. Our second one is I16 through I18, good. We're going to go ahead and press copy to another location. And we want to make sure that we have our cells E17 through F25 highlighted. Once we have this, go ahead and press OK. Our table should now be created of our Saturdays and Sundays. Just like that. Okay. Next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to go ahead and do our sample summary down below. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. So go ahead and do a count of these observations right here. Oops, forgot to do count. And press enter. Go ahead and absolute your formula, just like before, so we can drag it all the way down. And let's go ahead and fix these formulas. Now, next one for range, go ahead and change this formula to the max minus the min. There we go. Go ahead and change our variance to var dot p. Oh, not p, my bad, sample. So s, there we go. And standard deviation, so STDEV, and do the sample one. There we go. Okay. Next thing after this is that we want to do the exact same thing that we did for the population, is we want to go ahead and make the weekends frequency analysis table. Let's go ahead and start with our 2K rule and finding our bin width. So we have our 8 observations, so 2 to the power of 1, oops, 2 to the power of 1 is going to be 2. Next up is 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So let's go ahead and use 8 as our k value. Next up is our bin width, which is our range divided by our k. So go ahead and do an equal signs here. Do our range that we calculated here, divided by our k value, which is 3. So we now have 25,500. So this, we don't need to do any rounding here. So let's go ahead and calculate our first upper bound of our bin. Okay, we're going to go ahead and choose our min here. Go ahead and add it to our width that we just found. And there is our first upper bound, which is 46,100. Next one is 46,100 plus 25,000. So we're just going to add another 25,500 to get our 71,600. And then we can go ahead and just drag this down to get our last one. Let's go ahead and fill out our weekend sales bins. So the first one is 20,600 to 46,100, 46,100 to 71,600, 71,600 to 97,100. Last one is 97,100 plus. Last thing here is that we want to add in a total. Okay, let's go ahead and create our frequency formula here. So equals frequency. Choose our data array. We're not going to use this big one over here. We're going to use this one here that we created, and then we're going to press comma. Sample bin max for this one. Go ahead and press enter, and we should get our frequencies of each bins. Moving on, let's go ahead and do our sum value here. Sum equals sum. And we're going to go ahead and calculate the relative frequency. So we're going to do equals the frequency of our first bin divided by our total that we found, which is 8, our total observations. So go ahead and press that 8, and go ahead and absolute, and go ahead and drag this down. Last thing is go ahead and calculate the sum. And we should be done with this frequency table. Next up that we want to do is that we want to go ahead and create a bar chart and a pie chart just like before. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first one is I want to select the data for the bar chart, go to the insert main menu, go to the bar chart and select the first one. Go ahead and move it under the first bar chart we created. Go ahead and change the name of this to sample frequency. Make sure we have the data labels as well, stating which samples bins we are working with, and go ahead and just change the formatting. Next up is the pie chart, so let's go ahead and make the pie chart. Go ahead and select your weekend sales and your relative frequency. Go to insert, go to the pie chart and select the first one. Go ahead and put it right under again. Change the name to sample relative frequency, and go ahead and change the formatting to show the percentages. Make sure you also change the name and the chart design of your charts, because we will be grading on it again. Okay. Moving on to pivot tables, we are now done with the sales worksheet. So let's go ahead and create our population pivot table. Select the cells from A5 through C36. Next thing we want to do is that we want to go to Insert, Pivot Table. Go ahead and select new worksheet. We should see this new worksheet being created. Go ahead and change the name of this worksheet to Population Pivot, Population Pivots. Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and fill our pivot table. Go ahead and put your days of the week in rows and our sales in values. After this, we want to go ahead and create a pivot chart. So let's go ahead and add that. Go ahead and click anywhere on your pivot table. Go to Pivot Table Analyze and go to Pivot Chart. Go ahead and select the first column chart suggested. And we're going to go ahead and change the name to Population Summary. There we go. Next thing we want to do is that we want to go ahead and create the sample pivot table. To do this, go ahead and go back to the sales worksheet. Select your cells E17 through F25. Go ahead and go back to insert and add another pivot table. Go ahead and do a new worksheet. Press OK. And we're going to go ahead and call this sheet, sample pivot. Okay, once we have that, let's go ahead and fill our pivot table. Go ahead and put the days of the week in rows and the sales in the values. We're going to do the same thing here again. Go ahead and add another pivot chart. First column chart we see here. and go ahead and change the name to sample summary. Okay. Once we've done that, let's go ahead and go to our final worksheet, which is our analysis worksheet. Let's go ahead and answer these questions. First one, what population interval of sales has the highest frequency? So first thing we want to do is that we want to go ahead and look at sales, and we want to go ahead and look at our population up here, frequency. It seems as though that our first bin, consisting of the 12,000 to 29,100, holds the most observations. So we're going to go ahead and just Command C and Command V the answer that. Next thing we want to do is question 2. Consider the population mean and median given the values. Is the distribution normal? Well, if you look at the chart here, we can see that the distribution is not normal. So we're going to go ahead and just say no. Okay, moving on. Given the results of using the Excel mode function, what does the result indicate? So if we look at our sales worksheet and see that both modes are not filled in, that means we can conclude that there are no reoccurring numbers. So we can go ahead and type all values are unique. Okay. Next one is, given the population pivot, which day of the week in this month had the highest sales? So let's go ahead and go to population pivot worksheet that we made. And we can see that Thursday has the most. So let's go ahead and go back and type in Thursday. Next thing we have, last one we have is question 5, which is consider the sample pivot. Which weekend day had higher sales? So first thing, let's go ahead and answer that. Sample pivot, we have Saturday. So let's go ahead and type in Saturday first. And then after that, we want to say, and how much more in dollars was the day over the other? So we can go over back to sales. Oops. There we go. Good to see that we have our Saturday and Sunday. So we could just do a quick calculation here of Saturday, my bad, minus our Sunday, which is 70,200. So we just go ahead and put that in. Oops. By 70,200. There you go. And with that, we are done with our capstone. Go ahead and save your file. Let's go ahead and save our file, save as. Go ahead and put it in the spot that we can find it. Go ahead and put it in my downloads. Make sure you put in your UID in front of the capstone. So mine is U1232612_capstone1. Make sure it says Excel workbook and go ahead and save it. Once you save it, you should be able to submit your file down below here. Once you have submitted your file, if you have any questions for us, for the instructors or the TAs, please reach out to your specific section professor or TA, and we'll try and get to you as soon as possible. That's the end of this assignment. I hope you have a great day.